So we have a lovely, covered in dust. We have a lovely community over on a Facebook group called Tin House Studios. I tried to pop a link into the description, but it often breaks. And a while back, someone was saying you Photoshop that too much. And I think this is a great topic for conversation. How much Photoshop is too much? Now, obviously, Photoshop is not a doing verb. Oh gosh, this is lack of coffee. But Photoshop is a bit of software, so the actual Photoshop bit is irrelevant, but people call it Photoshopping. Like, regardless of how you do it, is image manipulation. I want to give you my opinion as a professional commercial still life photographer. And the still life bit's important because I think if you're photographing people, the ethics around this change somewhat. But let me give you mine. You can give me yours below in the comments as well, because I like to get a broad, rounded knowledge of things. So if you have an opinion on this, let me know. I shoot film, black and white, C41, occasionally slide film if I'm feeling a bit flush with cash, and I shoot digital for my commercial work. So as you can see, there's very traditional work going on there. I print onto like resin paper, there's nice fiber papers, and you spend weeks drying them out, and do all the dodging, the burning. I can even clone things out in the darkroom. I do that I love to do. My commercial work, some of it is so photoshopped, it would make you cry. And I have no qualms with this. I have no problem with this. Often we shoot every single item for a shoot separately, cut it out, shoot a background, stick it in. Don't care. Doesn't bother me. It is no less valid than my black and white darkroom print. Absolutely not. We light the living daylight out of things. We edit, we manipulate, we create the image. And this is what's important to me. I am not a photographer. I am obviously a photographer. That is the medium I use. But I am an artist. I create art. Commercially viable art, yes, which is obviously frowned upon by real artists. But I create images. I create an image. I create a picture. I create a photograph. It doesn't matter. It's an image. It doesn't matter to me whether I shot it on black and white film and developed it myself and printed it myself on Wednesday down at Leicester Lo-Fi, which is where I go. You should go. It's very good. Or if we shot it on 3 different days, cut it all out, altered it, composited it, and rebuilt it into what I wanted it to look like. All that matters to me is the end result. The minute you get bogged down in the method is the minute you lose all sense of reality in your work. Nobody cares how you got the image. Nobody cares that I painstakingly cleaned the negative. I got a scratch on the negative, so I hand painted it into the print using like various tones of black and white ink. Nobody cares. They see the photograph and go, that's a nice photograph. Or they see the digitally manipulated image with mixes of CGI and still life and go, that's a cool picture. All that matters is that it looks good and that it's interesting. That is it. Nobody cares about the method. And I see a lot, obviously being into film photography as well, I see a lot of people fascinated by the method of film photography, fascinated by the kit, the gear, the developers, all the rest. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you have a nice final image. What is on the paper is what matters, or digitally what is on the screen is what matters. I couldn't care less how you got there. Now, I think some of the confusion with this argument comes when you see badly photoshopped images. You see the horrific, not CGI, HDR. Remember that craze? Oh. Or the one where you make everything black and white and keep one colour running in it. That's painful to look at. But the problem there is not that it was photoshopped, is that it was photoshopped badly. Or not even, maybe they did a good job of it in Photoshop, but it looks bad. The idea is wrong. The concept is wrong. The aesthetic is wrong. What you think looks good, I'm afraid, is wrong. So that is where a lot of this confusion comes from. But likewise, you go into some of the film photography groups on Facebook or Flickr or whatever you like to view, muddy black and white images because they've not developed them right, and they've not scanned them correctly, and they've not manipulated them correctly in Lightroom, or they've not printed them correctly, and they've got these muddy, nasty prints. They've not exposed it right. That has nothing to do with the medium of film. That has everything to do with the competence of the photographer, or what they believe to look right and them being wrong. Which, for a lot of times, like, no, do you know what? Whatever you like is fine. It's not. If it looks bad, it looks bad. And we all know what looks bad. So there is no limit. There is no point where you go, that is too much manipulation. There's changes when you've got people involved, I believe. I don't think we should be heavily manipulating people with certain narratives in mind. I think sometimes you can do it and it's fine, if it's for comedic effect, whatever it may be. But in terms of unrealistic ideas of what a product does to a person, unrealistic ideas of what a person should look like, I don't think that's okay. That's my personal opinion. You have your own, it's fine. You might be wrong. But for what I do, sky's the limit. If you can see it in your head and you can't do it with a camera, manipulate it. If you can see it in your head and you can't manipulate it, get in someone who can draw. Bring in people who can do these bits to bring your vision to life. And that is my opinion as a commercial photographer. I don't have any boundaries or limits on what's acceptable to get the final shot. There is no boundary. There's no point where you go, that's too much. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the image is great and people view it. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.